Hi guys, today I'm talking about willpower, and I call it a killer concept. And what do you think? Is it a positive or negative? A killer concept. Well, let's try to look at it. Why is a killer concept? You see, the willpower is very often, well, oftest is the tool or the definition that people say you lack willpower. That's why you cannot change anything in your life. And people kind of, many big achievers, very often people say, okay, willpower. Many big achievers, they really know what willpower is. And they know how to use willpower, how to implement willpower in their daily life. They have trained willpower. Well, there's a lot of things that is actually showing that many of those achievers, they use this willpower, but it has a backside. And the backside is awful and is very taxing for their ability to actually sense their own body. It's called sensitivity. Very often when people exert and they're really well trained in using their willpower, what they really lack is sensitivity, because very often they are strong enough in their psyche to actually overhear and not act on the signals that their body is giving them. And very often it's also a lack of ability in social relationships to be empathic. And that's very often. You see, what I think we can use instead and we can train, that's something I call Kaizen. And Kaizen, that's the ability to achieve very big things and to evolve in a real big way without using willpower, but with using intelligent setup. Intelligent setup meaning that I use very small steps, but I use it every day. And I make a setup that is allowing me to actually train in whatever I really want to do, but through enabling the joy of action. And this is a very big difference, because you see, in our life, let's talk about the energy, because you see, willpower, it has something to do with energy. And you see, there's actually a very big book written by Ted Baumeister. It's called Willpower. And this is two books, actually, very big books. And I went through this, I read these books. I have them in audio version on Audible. And what I understood from these two books, that the essence of this is, that we really can use practically in our daily life, is that the willpower is taking its source and takes the energy, is very energy consuming thing, the willpower. And when it is used, it consumes the energy from the same energy pool. We call it, let's say the energy pool, where we use the energy, our three main systems in our body use the energy. That's the mental energy, that's the physical energy, and the energy for immune energy. So you see, if we are using willpower a lot every day, it will take the energy It will actually remove the energy, or make less energy available for your immunity, for your mental resources, and for the physical movement. And this, I know, this is a controversial, but it's an interesting thought, isn't it? So what I think we really need to not use power of will. We really have to understand how it works, and instead go and use something that is called inspiration. And you see, inspiration and joy, they are interconnected and interdependent. So you don't have to use willpower, and you will achieve well, if you want results, you will achieve big results. But the most crucial thing, you will be able to build a very strong process. And this process will eventually lead you to the results, to all the results you want to achieve. We can call it, instead of calling it results, if we use a process and not the task-oriented way of thinking, we want to build a strong process, then we can call it a vision. So instead of having, you know, a life full of tasks, full of targets, because to work with targets and to work with tasks, very, very often we need to use willpower. And in order to be free from using willpower, we need to make a transition. It's a paradigm shift, actually. It's a transition towards using, well, inspiration. Inspiration. That is very, very crucial. So that is what I really need to say. Teddy, come here. Teddy, come here. Come here. Teddy, come here. Come here. Come here. Because that's my dog. Come here. Okay, so come here. And the inspiration will lead us in the direction we want, and will ensure that we will do the things that we need every day without using willpower. So there's no strain. There's only joy of doing something that you cannot be without. You see, one of the very good examples I have from my life, and I don't really use willpower a lot. I don't have willpower. I understood that my willpower is weak. So instead, I chose for many years ago to just do what I really love. I love playing music instruments. I always, you know, I was were very open to try to play different music instruments. Now I can play professionally double bass on a very good level, piano, jazz piano, guitar is just an example. Another thing I would say, just a second, Teddy, come here. So there's a lot of different dogs here. Yes. Come here. Hi. Come here. There's a lot of dogs in the forest, so I have to take care of my own. Actually, there's beautiful surroundings. This is Denmark, North Zealand, 40 kilometers from the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen, up north. It's a relatively, for Denmark, it's a big forest. It's called Gribskov. So, what I want to say, look, I always hated running, jogging. I'm not really a runner, because you know, it was always, for me, was connected with running on time, running on speed, and running on the distance. It's like, you know, if you lift weights, then you have a number of repetitions. It's always the thing that you are measuring your process with. Or I would say it's a very, very target-oriented work. Okay? So, and I hated it. It was always connected with kind of, you know, how would you say? It's I hated it because I didn't really enjoy it. So it always connected with some negative things, you know, for me. And until very, very lately, I found out what the forefoot running is. And you see, I made a lot of mistakes in my own way of doing physical exercise. And I had a lot of problems, actually. And I learned a lot on this from these mistakes. So when I started using forefoot running, I changed my way of measurement. You know, I stopped measuring the distance, the speed, the number of hours, you know, the time, like stopped measuring the repetitions. Instead, I decided, you know what, I will start from the very, very little movement. And because I was afraid, I heard a lot of stories that people using forefoot running, they overexert. So they make a lot of problems for their feet, and they always stop practicing forefoot running because they overstrain all the small intrinsic muscles in their feet. You know, we have an external strong muscles in the whole body, and then we have something called intrinsic muscles. That's the internal muscles, and they have to be in the balance. So when you overwork your external muscles, you will end up in the very, very big problems, in a disbalance. You will end up in something you call overcompensation. And overcompensation always results in a disease, in a lifestyle disease. That's why many people that try to pump themselves with external muscles, they end up bad, in a bad state. So what I decided, I will run very, very slowly. I will run like a little bit faster than my walking speed. And I will do it many, many months. And you know what? When I started doing the exercise with very low intensity, I found out that now I don't need to use my willpower. I don't need to go out. Why? Simply because I really enjoy the process. I really enjoyed what I was doing. And this is a very, very powerful driver. So you see, I bought those shoes. I'll show you. That's the Vibram shoes, and it's 0 degrees right now, but I use the summer version of the shoes. So I always jog with these shoes now, and I go out every day, jogging in the woods here in Denmark. It's very, very nice. And every time I look forward to go out and jog because I really enjoy the nature. It's beautiful nature here. I really enjoyed the landscape. You see, that's the forest lake. So every time I got an idea, oh, now I have 2 hours free from my clients, free from teaching, or 3 hours like today, I go out and I go and I jog this very, very different. Actually, I don't know. I think it's about 10 kilometers or something very, very slowly. I never measure the distance. I just measure the level of my enjoyment. And this is a very powerful thing. Measuring, instead of measuring the results, measure the level of your enjoyment. Wow, that's the true process. That's the sustainable thing. That's something you can really. This process is very strong simply because you enjoy it. Nobody's staying there and saying to you with bad conscience and things like that. You need to do this because you took a New Year's resolution. No New Year's resolution. Just very, very easy. Very, very easy process with lots of enjoyment. And that's just you see, when you open up to this kind of processes that are natural, you learn a lot. You open up. Basically, you learn to open up and say, okay, it's not about the results. I don't care about the results. That's the real paradigm shift. That's the real change. What I really I want to enjoy my life. I want to do something that gives me joy. And this is a very, very powerful shift. And then, when you establish this process, by just doing every day, showing up every day, showing up every day. Oh, here am I again. Then you reached a lot. Teddy, come here. Come here. So you have Teddy here. You see, he's coming. That's Teddy. Hi, Teddy. Teddy. Teddy's on his own. So now we're gonna cross the road. Just Teddy, please. Hey, come here, please. We're gonna cross the road. Just a second. It's the road we are crossing. See, Teddy, please. 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 Cross ahead. Please. Bli hier. Zodan, free. So, what I'm talking about, it's about the opening up. You see, when you open up, when you don't have any resistance, when you don't need to push yourself, when you don't need to force yourself to do anything, when you don't need to motivate yourself by some external motivational things, like a career, or to achieve something like that, or to look like that, but instead you're using the inspiration. You actually you have a little fire that is burning within. And this is a very, very powerful thing, because when you have this inspirational fire burning within, you open up for learning. You open up to actually just a second. Daddy, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. So, duktig. Well, you open up for seeing all the small aspects of wow, beautiful horses. Hi. You open up to actually pay attention to all the beautiful moments that your life is filled with. And you can use all of these beautiful moments to learn and to help you with your building up with your process. When you're target oriented, very, very often you see these things, but you are prone to say no. because you don't have time. You really want to reach those targets, and that's a very, very big difference. This is this process of opening up with all of you, actually, by using all of your senses, all of your experience that you always have a lot of, because all of us lived our life already for many years and we have a lot of experience. The thing is, we have to use this experience for something, and the more we use it, well, the better is for us, for our process, the better is for our environment, because we also inspire our environment. And this is a very, very strong thing. Hi, Sophia. It's very nice to have you here. Okay. So, that was about the power of the process and the power of joy. When you do something, and that's the joy that it drives you forward. And it's called Kaizen technique. Kaizen philosophy of life. Instead of using the willpower that is actually taxing, because it's not funny if you don't have willpower, then you have an alternative. An alternative is to set up a process that is smart, the process that will not tax you for energy, okay? The process that will build your resilience up, build up your resilience. And that's what we call, well, the smart setup. Find out, we call it Kaizen too, that's the name. And I'm using it in my courses, helping my clients, one-to-one clients, building up their own setup, their process. And it's possible, actually. And not everybody has willpower. So if you thought that you lack willpower and that's why you will never, you are not able to achieve what you really want in your life, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's a misunderstanding. You don't need willpower. You just need to be smart and start doing very, very, very small things in your life that really activates your joy. And that's why you can do them every single day. And they will lead you places that are very nice places to be, but very often places that you never knew exist. That's about opening up. When you open up, you get surprised. And you get surprised because the life is smiling at you very often, and also you become stronger. Not necessarily with your willpower, but just, stronger overall. Because when you build your resilience, it's a big word. Resilience, when you do the daily process with anything, you build up your resilience. Mental resilience, physical resilience, and immune resilience. And there's a lot of good details about that. But that's basically what I wanted to inspire you today. That's the willpower is a killer concept. And killer here is not a positive word, is a negative word. Because the willpower, the lack of willpower, very often, because people are indoctrined in thinking willpower. And when they don't have willpower, they lay down arms and they say, okay, I'm not good at this. This is a killer. It's not good for your life. It's not good for your, for the process. And also another part of it is that the people that have a lot of willpower, very often they overuse the willpower. So they close the sensitivity. They stop the sensitivity. And this is a very, very big problem. When you are not sensitive enough, but we have a lot of willpower, it's a very, very big disbalance. Did you ever think about this? So if not, then consider this. You don't need willpower. You just need to set up a smart process that will be executed very, very easily every single day, just because of the simple fact that you love it. It will always generate joy, and it will always bring you somewhere. Just like when I'm using my forefoot running in this, sorry, in this beautiful, just to let me find myself again. I'm here. Wow. Okay. Can you see me?